Good morning. Welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. Now, it's been a few days since I've actually posted on here, and there's a lot of things going on and a lot to talk about. But the subjects, my God, the subjects. So, I'm finally this past week. It is Saturday, or this week still. The new week starts on Sunday. For those of you that are uninformed about this, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't know when the beginning of the week is. I never thought that would be a thing, but Sunday is the first day of the week, not Monday. Everybody thinks it's Monday, but it's Sunday. Sunday is day one. So, anyway, the day of rest. You would think that Sunday would be the very last day of the week because, if you're Bible thumpers, you would know that on the seventh day, God rested, after he created all of this, everything. So why is Sunday the first day of the week when it was the last day for God to do anything? He rested. But that's not up to me. I don't make the rules. I don't even follow the rules half the time. But anyways, here's what we're going to talk about today. It's cold. It is cold. Cold, and more cold. Right now, in Frenchtown, which is where my mailing address is, it's 54 degrees, okay? So, yesterday, it struggled. It never got out of the 50s. It was in the 50s all day. The day before that, it hit, I think, 70-something. But the day before that, it was, again, in those 50-degree days. And the day before that, it hit, like, 70 degrees. But the days before that, it never got out of the 50s. Like a lot of days before that, never got out of the 50s. So why should I care? Why should anybody care, right? So what? It's cold. Well, cold air, no sun. What's that mean? It means the ground's cold. So, ground's cold. I sprayed Roundup a week and a half ago on ground that I'm going to be planting corn on, and it is struggling to kill it. Yes, struggling to kill it. And believe me, I put enough on there to kill it. If you don't know about Roundup cannot handle cold weather. It just doesn't work. The grass doesn't grow fast enough. It's there, and it actually gives the plant enough time to, say, digest the glyphosate. And it may or may not kill it. So I had some vigorously growing grass that was good and strong and healthy because we had tested the sprayer out with 15 gallons of nitrogen to the acre just to see if the sprayer was going to work properly. And I had Timothy run it, and there was some tweaking we needed to do to the sprayer. So we only got about, 3/4 of the farm done, and the ground that never saw nitrogen, that stuff's dead. It killed it. Boy, my eyes are bloodshot. It's not super early in the morning. It's like 6-something in the morning. I've been up for a while, though, catching up on video stuff and trying to post everything I need to post. But other than that, I've just been working really hard, trying to get everything ready for the straw job that's coming like a freight train. ISX Cummins 565 took my stack wagon down to North Carolina where we're going to be working, and he seemed pretty happy about it. He was a good guy. Claimed he got there just fine. He says, it's there. So I'm a little concerned about his trailer though, because if it's too tall to take the balers, we're going to have to figure something else out. Like, I have to rent a trailer for him to use. And then it's going to cost me a shit ton more money to do the job. So we may have an issue there. I don't know. It shouldn't be an issue. I may just flatten the tires out to get the balers on there and then have to put air in them when we get there. He's got air on his truck, so he should be able to do that. And I don't have a problem with flattening the tires. Why not? Just drop them suckers right down on the rims or pull the rims off, and then you can jack them up when he gets there. It's just a distinct possibility that that's what's going to have to happen. The top of the deck of his trailer is 35 inches, and I'm going to have to go measure the balers. So, just one of those things. Anyway, I was talking about cold ground. I see people throwing corn and soybeans in the ground all over the place, and I'm telling you, it is not warm enough. And it's, that's their choice. But I see a replant in their future. We just had rain last night. Again, I don't know how much. I can see that the driveway is washed clean like new slate. It's clean. Yes, I'm slurping my coffee, UK people. I'm rude, and yeah. So sorry about that. Not really. But anyway, yeah. So I just see a replant in their future. I've grown corn and soybeans in many years of my life. I only quit growing corn and soybeans in 2014, and only to pick it up again this year. I know there's a lot of people that are crying and complaining about the price of corn, but when has it really been good? There were a few short years in the last 10 years that corn was quite valuable. But right now it's in the shitter. And of course the what happened in the Midwest with the flooding and all that, and now snow. I mean, I'm seeing guys with snow on the ground still. What the hell? That's crazy. Wisconsin, full of snow. Those guys should be in full swing. It is May 4th, for God's sakes. I always said that I wouldn't start planting corn until May 10th, and there's a lot of truth to that. Anytime I ever planted in this area, whether it be corn or soybeans are a little more forgiving, but it will affect the yield if they struggle too hard. But anytime I ever planted anything in April and early May, it never was great, I always just said my planting date here is don't bother starting until the 10th of May. So it's the 4th today. I do have some parts that need to be purchased for the corn planter. Not really a big deal. They just need to be bought and, installed. And then the corn planter should be ready to go. We're going to test it out and see how she goes. And I'm thinking that it's going to go right to the field and do the job it's supposed to do. Got to check the meters. There's some belts that need to be replaced, like all of them. And there's one meter that is a little bit funky, but I've got 8 other meters floating around the farm there that I can just drop in there as long as I replace the belts in them. So that's what the plan is, to replace the belts for the meters. You have to purchase those. Really no big deal. There's some bushings and some other things like that on the row units. And for the most part, the planter is rusty because I don't think they had it in an enclosed building. I think it looks more like an open face building. I believe that planter is a conversion from a rigid end pull to a folding, which is fine by me. I don't care. Because whoever did it did a good job. And it works, which is nice. It just works. So there you go. What else was I going to say about this whole thing? But cold, putting seed in the ground cold, if you're a non-farmer or somebody who is, looking at the neighbor as they're rolling across the field and saying, oh my God, I better get out there because my neighbor's planting. That is probably the worst thing you can do. Your neighbor's ground may not be the same as yours. The way he treats his soil may be different than the way you treat your soil. No-tilling and working ground is two very different things. Like right now, it's probably pretty wet, and it's 50. What did I say? It was 54 degrees. So that rain last night was not 90-degree rain. It was probably somewhere in the 40-degree range because it fell from the sky. And that soil is, I'm telling you, I'm going to stick a thermometer in it when I go outside today and see what the temperature of that soil is. And I can almost guarantee you it is not 55 degrees. And the reason I say 55 degrees is because that's where your ideal soil temperatures are to be, 55 degrees. If you stick a thermometer in the ground at 6 o'clock in the morning and it's in the 40s, the ground is in the 40s or even at 50, you're not doing your seed any favors. It's better to wait. Wait till the ground conditions are correct. If you don't do that, you young guys out there, trust me, I know a little bit about this. It's not like I'm just some jackass that woke up yesterday and said, I'm an expert corn grower. I am far from an expert corn grower or soybean grower, but I do know the basics. and I know what it takes to grow a crop in this area. Now, if you go out and stick your thermometer in the ground at 6 o'clock in the morning and it's 55 degrees, go for it, buddy. You're ready to rock and roll. Don't plant it in the wet, though. That's the other thing. These guys, I'm telling you, the mud they're pulling out of the fields, going across these fields, pulling their grain drills, and you see mud coming out of those fields. What is that doing? Sidewall compaction? Are the slots closing all the way? Is it going to get, if it dries up, is it going to get so hard that the beans can't push their way through? I'm glad I'm not the guy doing it. That's all there is to it. I'm going to wait. I am going to wait. There's a reason I'm going to wait. Because I don't like wasting my time. I really don't. It's annoying. So anybody out there that's planting soybeans, corn right now in cold ground, shame on you. You should know better. But that's just me. Anyway, with that being said, the baler, the big square baler, the 4910, that is actually being worked on pretty diligently by my nephew and my son Joseph, and a little bit by Tim, because I'm the guy putting the fertilizer down. My dad's shoulder hurts him so bad every day. I get about a half a day every other day out of him for putting down fertilizer, because it just hurts so bad. And, that's okay. He's 71 years old. If he's, geared up to retire, and that's, not by choice. I don't think he wants to retire by choice, but it's just really sore, and it hurts. So I get about a half a day every other day from him, which is a big help. It really, truly is. And, that's okay, because I'm running the big sprayer, and he runs the 750. On the smaller days, the days that aren't so hectic, and, on the days that aren't so hectic, Timothy will jump in the other sprayer and go spray these smaller farms. And that's what really needs to be done, because there's little bitty nook farms, little 3-acre fields, 4-acre fields that most people would just let grow up into bushes, which I'm not going to do, because every acre counts. Those are better for the 60-foot boom over the 90s. Ugh. God, I didn't realize how tired I was. Oh, this isn't really a great video, but it is what it is. The 90-foot booms, they're really a pain in the ass to get in and out. I'm having a little trouble with the electronics on the sprayer. I actually have to pull the little box in the back off and work on some wires that are in there. I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure. It's just annoying me that I can't just hit the hydraulic levers and you throw my toggle switches and everything works right. It's not up in the box. It's in the box in the back of the sprayer, but it's not up in the cab. So I've got to deal with that. But as long as I'm able to fold and unfold my booms, it just takes a little bit longer, and I'm annoyed by it. Like today, it has rained. So Cody is actually on his way to Fazio's to pick up steel, and he'll be back to the farm to weld that baler up. And that should be pretty good. Got to weld the baler up, hopefully I got enough gas. I might just send Timothy down to pick up another bottle of gas for my MIG welder, because I might be out here pretty soon, and there's a lot of welding that needs to do. And we've got today Saturday, tomorrow Sunday, and if I run out this afternoon, there's just no way in hell I'm going to get anything done on that baler until Monday, which sucks because I got things to do. I don't have time for this. I may just jump in my truck and take a load of hay down to the mushroom barn today because of the rain, and which is okay. I can do that. So it's just the way that goes. As everybody knows, planting out west or down in the southwest is definitely in full swing or just finishing up. I see a lot of stuff from Big Tractor Power. It looks to me like they're still planting in Kentucky. I was in Kentucky, a week and a half ago? 2 weeks ago. Today, what is today? I picked that thing up on a Monday, right? I don't even know what day. I picked Friday. I picked it up on a Friday, so 2 weeks ago. I picked up that, and their corn was rotting in the ground. Literally rotting in the ground. There was nothing up. There was a lot planted, and even the hay didn't look very good because of the. The lights went out. Even the hay didn't look very good because of the weather. And weren't able to get nitrogen down or any other fertilizer for that matter. So that just where that is. Yeah. So I guess we could touch on the saga of the pissed off ex friend of mine, which whatever. What am I supposed to do? Friends are overrated anymore anyway, I mean, there's some people that can be friends for a lifetime, and there's some people that can be friends, intense friends for a short time, and then somebody does something that maybe the other one doesn't like a little bit, and they get all pissed off, and then you never speak to them again. And I think that's the situation that I'm in right now, which, whatever. A true friend would talk to you. A fool would just yell and scream and holler and send his wife to yell at you because he can't pick up the phone himself. Or maybe she wouldn't let him. I don't know. Could possibly be that. But up to this point, I haven't really cost anyone anything with what I've done with my grandparents, my grandmother's grounds. See, my grandfather died in 1992. 1992, it's been a long time, almost 30 years. Closing in on 30 years that my grandfather died. Amazing how long ago that's been. I remember my grandfather quite well. Both of them. My first grandfather, my father's father, he died in 1981. December 29th, 1981. Right after Christmas. Yeah, it was kind of devastating. I think they buried him on the 4th of January, 82. I think that's when he was buried, 8/29. I think it was the 4th. I know it was pretty hard. New Year's wasn't much fun. And the year before, or 2 years before that, we buried my cousin, Jimmy, little Jimmy. He died. He died January 1st, 79. It was kind of weird, that area. In 1980, we buried my great-grandmother. When you're in that 7, 8, 9-year-old range, it really hurts when, you handle it better, but you remember it because it's devastating because now you're here, now you're not. Well, my cousin, he was only 18 months old. He had meningitis, what killed him. It was kind of a sad situation, but whatever. But my aunt and uncle were quite the rare couple. Most couples, after a death like that of a child, usually ends up in divorce. And, I'm pretty sure there's people out there that know this, but I just think that my aunt and uncle stood the test of time and the test of faith and love, and they stayed married, and they seem pretty happy. They do a lot of stuff together. This is, they stayed together, and my cousins, both very successful. One's a doctor. The other one is she was a school teacher. Now she's in the administration office. So Sarah Jane and Dottie Ann, my Uncle Jim and Aunt Peggy had 3 children. Little Jimmy was the son. So I think that things would have turned out very differently on the farm had my cousin Jimmy survived. It would have been, very different. I don't know whether they would still be milking cows. I don't know that little Jimmy would have ever even become a farmer, but I know we would have been friends for sure. Because I like my cousins. I don't have a beef with any of my cousins, to be quite honest with you. Not one. I don't really have a problem with them at all. And that's kind of rare because I know there's people that don't like their cousins. I know Teresa has a cousin that she'll never speak to again. Or if she does, it isn't going to be nice because, quite honestly, that cousin of hers, a little evil. I never met her and spoke with her. I met her in, I want to say it was a 7-Eleven or some other little store in the Philippines, and she went to the back room as Teresa walked up to the counter, and somebody else checked us out. And when I got in the car, Teresa's like, "That's my cousin." I was like, "Oh, really? Why didn't you introduce me?" And that didn't happen. So, but I don't know. A lot of bad a bad blood there, which, I don't have that problem. My cousins are fine. All of them. I don't think I've pissed any of them off, and maybe I know they've never pissed me off. But family can be a fickle thing. So anyhow, with that being said, my aunt and uncle stood the test of time. The kids are all good. Did not end in divorce. I know a lot of people that have lost children, and it's like 90 some odd percent of people that lose a child end up in divorce, and it's a sad thing. But such is life. One blames the other. And it's not something, unless you directly did something to your child that caused the death of the child. I mean, now a simple car crash, a child can be killed, or even you could be killed, but a child could be killed, and your spouse or lover would blame you for the lack of responsibility. You weren't responsible enough to take good enough care of yourself and the child. You may have done something foolish, or maybe it wasn't even your fault. But that sort of situation, that's when it gets really sad that a relationship can't survive because of an accident, unless you're an idiot and you were driving 100 miles an hour with your kid in the back seat, which some people are that stupid. We used to ride around in the back of a pickup truck. None of us ever got killed. Once close. And I'll tell you, oh my God, he's bald. I'll tell you, we were chasing deer in the back of the truck. It was me and my sisters, and, well, I guess I should say this, my girlfriend. See, I had a little girlfriend when I was in 4th grade. Her name was Jennifer Antahar. And she's still out there. She didn't die. No, she's still out there, but she doesn't live anywhere near me. But Jennifer Antahar was a very thin, slim, tall, dark-haired girl. And she was my girlfriend for about a month. And in 4th grade. So she was friends with my sister Holly. And she was spending the night at my sister Holly's, with my sister Holly. And of course, I was in my own bedroom asleep. And, but anyways, we went chasing deer. My dad and us kids got in the bed of the truck, and we are flying after these deer, and we're in the bed of the truck, and Dad was a little bit too fast, and we go around a corner, and I'm almost falling out the side of the truck, and my little girlfriend had my arm, and she pulls me back in because she held on to Holly, and Holly was holding on to the door jamb to the truck. So Holly's got the door jamb on the driver's side, I'm on the passenger side, and Jennifer's in the center, and she pulls me back over because I would have went flying. Probably I don't know, I doubt that I would have got run over, but I definitely wouldn't have been feeling too good. So this is how this would go. It's probably illegal as hell, and this was like 30 years ago, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see, how old was I in 4th grade? I'm totally over 30 years ago. So anyway, what you do is you get in the truck, and you turn the lights off, and you sneak out the driveway, and you go down across the field. And then there's the first terrace you go over, and then you turn the lights on, and you see the deer. And then you shut the lights off, and you turn to the other side, and you turn the lights on again, and see if there's more deer closer or to the right. Then you shut the lights off, and you go down across the field, blumper, 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 blumper. And then when you get to approximately where you think the deer are, you flip the lights on and you mash the gas pedal. Now, this is okay if we're all in the front seat or if we're in the back seat, in the Jeep we used to have. We had a Jeep Wagoneer. The thing was huge. A lot of fun in that vehicle. Yes, we did have a lot of fun in that vehicle. So back then, the deer didn't run. Because they weren't used to being chased with a pickup truck or getting shot at in the middle of the summertime. But we educated them. Oh, yeah, we did. We definitely educated them. So my dad, I don't know. He usually was pretty careful with us. He never tried to kill us in any way, with a vehicle. He was generally pretty careful, but man, there was like 20 deer in that field, and it was an alfalfa field I'll never forget. And all of a sudden, man, we are flying down across that field, and I was like, holy shit, in 4th grade, holy shit, we're hanging on really tight. And the second terrace down there is a little bit on the elaborate side. You don't really want to hit that too hard because he would have jumped the truck. But what he did was he turned, because the deer turned to go down the pipeline. He turned and the rear end of that truck was sliding because that's how fast we were going, and that's when I was going to go out the side. So, anyways, the good part of it is I didn't get killed. Uh-oh, somebody's after. Oh, my rain notification. A little late. I've already seen that it rained, but anyway, I didn't get killed, and there was no problems. But that would have been the closest my dad ever did to try and kill us by accident. My mom probably would have shot him if he killed one of us. My mom was a pretty funny girl. It was hunting season, and she's pregnant with my sister Ella. I was 6. I think I was 6, and I remember this. Phone rings, and it's my dad. And he took the shit spreader down. They were milking cows, and he took the shit spreader down in the field to spread the shit, and he comes back, and there were deer out across the way before they built that horse barn there. It's a long time ago. We're talking, again, 41 years ago or so. Maybe 42 years ago. I think my sister's 41 now. She was born in 77, I think. But anyway, he says there's deer out in the field. So my mom, she has a 20 gauge, American Arms 20 gauge pump gun. And she goes out the front door, pregnant, and shoots 2 deer, goes back in, called them back and says, well, you got to gut these 2 deer out. 1 shot. Yeah, 2 deer, 1 shot. Nice slug. I'm pretty sure it was a 20 gauge. Pretty almost positive. So she got 2 deer pregnant, and yeah, that was was she pregnant? She wasn't pregnant. Maybe she had just had Ella. I don't know, because Ella was born in October. Ella was born October 19th. So deer season wouldn't have been for a while. I don't know. However they did it. I think she might have been not pregnant. She might have had Ella. But she definitely shot those deer. And I remember that as a kid, Mom going out the front door with a gun, and bam! And then coming back in, picking the wall phone up. For you millennials that don't know what a wall phone was, it hung on the wall, and it had a little rotary thing. We never had a touch-tone phone in the house, ever. Ever, when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, that telephone wasn't even owned by us. It was owned by the telephone company. We paid rent on the phone. Yeah, and it was green, ugly, olive drab green. But I see now they sell for big money, and it was heavy. I remember taking it off the wall because I don't know what the hell was wrong with it. The bell inside was out of kilter or something. And when you wanted to call your girlfriend on the phone, you had to go in the house, in the dining rooms where it was. We had no cordless phone, and it had like a 6-foot cord on it. Right? Cord, it was attached to the wall. So you had to hold on the phone and let's see, what was her number? Let me look at this. It was 996. Holy shit. I'm going to give a phone number out that does not belong to her anymore for the simple reason 996-3211. That was her phone number, because 996-3211. If you look at the phone, and I'm going to show you this. She when she gave me her phone number, she says, just start at the right and work your way around. I'm like, what? She's like, 996-3211. So you went from the right, 96321. And that was how you could know her phone number. But she didn't know I had a rotary phone. So she's like, oh, just start at the right and go all the way around. 996-3211. And I was like, I would have had to start, I think, on a rotary. Don't you start all the way at the left? You start at the left. 1 is your least. So if you don't know how a rotary phone works, now I'm going to tell you. So you have dial tone phones, which are different pitches, okay? Different pitches of telephone. Now this is really different pitches that dial the phone. Now a rotary phone, okay, what that does is it makes breaks in the, it's a break in the signal, in the voltage. So 9, as that thing comes back, it goes beep, 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 9 times. So you zip, and then it goes all the way back, and there's 9 breaks in that. So that says to the switch box 9. You do that twice. And believe me, it takes time to do this because that's another story for another time. I'll tell you, it takes time to dial a rotary phone. So if you didn't want to use the rotary and you were fucking around and you were like, oh, okay, well, we can do it this way. You can take the hang-up thing, the thing that actually breaks the signal, and you go, the flipper, when you hang it up, the hang-up little lever, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you go that way. You don't even have to use a rotary. You just use the brakes. Now, when Timothy was little, I had a dial tone phone. And he had this toy, and it had actual dial tone. It was a Fisher-Price thing. So I'm like, it was a Fisher-Price telephone. You had batteries on it. You pick it up, you hit the button, it goes, So I, being a smart-ass person I am, take the phone, and I put it up to the telephone, and I hit the button. It called Fisher-Price. It fucking called Fisher-Price. I couldn't believe it. The dial tone was set to Fisher-Price's telephone number. There you go. I was amazed. Like, hello, Fisher-Price Toys. Get out of here. So, did that once. That was 1995, maybe. I don't think there are too many people, even my age, that even have a wall phone or a phone in the house anymore. It's all done by this. It's too expensive to have a telephone. They should just pull all the wires down, recycle that copper, and give us all breaks on our telephone. There's a lot of copper that goes all through this country, like millions and millions of miles of copper. Make stuff out of it, copper bracelets and shit like that. So, anyway, I guess that's 30 minutes of me yakking on about weird stuff, from everything from dead people to planting in the cold and, corn prices. I don't even know where corn prices are. I don't care at this point. I do have a feeling that grain prices are going to creep up by the fall because the way the spring is going. In the Midwest, the later it gets, the less the yield they claim. For us, if you plant it too early, it's so cold. My heater just kicked on. Can you believe that? So that'll give you an idea. But anyways, thanks for. Oh, one more thing. I don't generally, I do it all the time. What am I talking about? Okay, so my political moment for today. So, Attorney General Barr, Bill Barr, William Barr, he has walked away from Congress. He's like, I don't need to go see you people. They subpoenaed him. They can't. I don't think they can really subpoena him. He is one of the branches of government. One of the four branches of government. 3 branches of government. What is it? Executive, judicial, and executive, judicial, legislative are the 3 branches of government, right? Legislation, judicial, executive. Those are the 3 branches of government. He can cooperate with them, but he does not have. I don't believe that they can subpoena him to testify and release classified information that he doesn't feel they need to see. And I kind of feel bad for him because they're going to get mean and nasty and cause all kinds of trouble. Now, sitting here as a everyday American who has an open mind about a lot of things, and by no means am I a 100% Trump supporter. I mean, I like Donald Trump. I like what he's done for our country. I don't like the fact that our grain prices are lower, but I'm hoping he's working on it. And there's some other things like the pipeline the pipelines that he is allowing to go across the country, unnecessary pipelines that are going to go across the country according to, he passed a law that it doesn't matter, go fuck yourself, an executive order, which really took a lot of power away from the state and, for this Federal Energy Commission, FERC, the Federal Energy Regulation Commission. They basically have carte blanche. If they want to put a pipe through your living room, you have to deal with it. And, he allowed that. So I'm not happy about that. And I don't think any American should be happy with everything that they're supposed leaders agreed to. And as this whole thing was unfolding with Donald Trump, this witch hunt, and I'll call it a witch hunt because I believe it was, and I think it is, and it was false, and it wasn't. It should have never got even out of the shoebox that it was built in. I mean, it was just stupid. But they hired or appointed Robert Mueller to do a job, and Robert Mueller was going to be the Democrats' savior in this whole thing. No, Mueller's going to hang him. This report's going to destroy the Trump administration. Mueller this and Mueller that, and Mueller's great. Mueller. And then, I forget what it was that happened, and I believe it was that Cohen had said something, and Mueller came out and says, oh, no, he didn't, because he had investigated this thing, and Cohen's an asshole. Cohen's gone to jail. I don't really care about him, and nor do I care what he did or any of that stuff. But if he did an injustice to our country, then he needs to go to jail. So, anyways, he basically found him as a liar. Lo and behold, that's what he's going to jail for. I think he's going to jail for lying. Hold on a second. So, when that happened, and I thought to myself, I was like, this Mueller is supposed to be the guy that's going to destroy the president. And the Democrats have all said this man is going to destroy the president. There's evidence upon evidence stacked up against the president that he colluded with the Russians. And the Russians. It's like that old Marcia Brady. Marcia. Well, that's what the Democrats are doing. Russians. And even after this report comes out, okay, so Mueller report is out. CNN is like, oh, we're going to watch him arrest the president. Which you can't do. They could ask him to resign. They could file for impeachment. But they can't arrest a seated president. Can't do it. Against the rules. You can impeach him and maybe go after him at that point. But up until, you can't do it. So they're all poised on the, you got like all these people that are running for president on the Democrat side, and they're like, oh yeah, the president will be impeached before I become president, that kind of stuff, or, whatever. So Mueller comes out and says, no Russian collusion. Turns it over to Barr. Barr says, no Russian collusion. May or may not exonerate him from everything. So Barr goes and does his report. The president is off the hook. Nothing happened. There's no Russian collusion. He didn't obstruct justice. It's not there. He didn't do it. But yet the Democrats are all like, we're going to impeach the president. Well, for what? They fought the impeachment of Bill Clinton, who had Monica Lewinsky's lips around his dick in the Oval Office, and he lied, who broke 11 laws, got impeached but not removed from office. Should have been asked to resign or made to resign. I mean, Tricky Dicky did the same thing as far as lying. The president lied. Clinton lied. So why didn't he step down? Of course, we'd have had the other guy. Oh, what the fuck's his name? Al Gore. How could you forget Al Gore? Because technically we should be in a fiery inferno right now, and it's cold outside. Climate change is an ever-happening thing, because if it never changed, the dinosaurs, we'd still be shooting dinosaurs, okay? Not that we ever shot dinosaurs, but we would be dealing with them. They're like deer, you couldn't eradicate them. It would take a global extinction event to do that. So, anyway, whatever. We have an ever-changing environment. What happens with the United States? What happens with human beings and how we affect our environment? Of course, we are having an effect on our environment. But I remember as a kid, acid rain. Stay out of the rain, kids. It's acid. And it would rain, and anything that was shiny metal here in New Jersey would turn to rust overnight. It still happens to a point, but, the pollution. You look towards New York and Philadelphia, and you see yellow. The sky was yellow at sunrise because of the pollution coming out of New York City. I've been to New York City when I was a kid. It was scary because I'd never been to a city, but you come out of there choking and coughing. All those cars that had zero emission control, and it was terrible. So, I don't know. I think we live in a cleaner environment now than we did 35 years ago. But I guess we're still changing the climate. China's really a big polluter, though. China's really fucking shit up, and that's our fault. But hopefully they get their stuff together and get for their own people. For Japan, for the Philippines. Because honestly, I've been to the Philippines since 2013, and the first time I was there, you blow your nose and black boogers come out your nose. Terrible. The pollution there was awful. You go there now, it's pretty damn clean. You still see some smoke in Manila, but I remember the second time or the third time I went there. Maybe it was the third time I went there. Third time I went there with Teresa. Yes, the third time I went there with Teresa. And she covered her mouth with a handkerchief, and the exhaust fumes were just staggering terrible. And, there she is in the back seat. I got a headache. This is terrible, and there you go. But now you go down to Manila. It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. Not at all. Manila is fairly clean compared to what it used to be. I mean, there's really nasty places in Manila. Not nasty people-wise, but nasty, dirty. But who cares? It's the way they want to live. It's the way they want to live. But the air pollution isn't so bad. But climate change will always happen. So back to Donald Trump. So Mueller's report comes out, and it exonerates the president. No obstruction of justice, no collusion. And now, like rabid dogs, they turned on Mueller. The Democrats turned on Mueller. And I kind of feel sorry for the guy. I do. He did what they asked him to do. He did a very thorough job. Too thorough. If you ask me, $40 million is a lot of money to spend to investigate something that should have never been investigated to begin with. And that's not even the whole thing. They've investigated him. There's ongoing investigations every single day. Every day, Congress is issuing more investigations. And what the hell? A 2-year investigation that cost $40 million to the American taxpayer, and he's exonerated, but no, that wasn't thorough enough. Well, what do they want? I'll tell you what they want. They want this investigation to go on throughout his entire presidency. Just investigate, put this tarnish on him, and try to impede his ability to do his job. And quite honestly, if this wasn't looming over him, just imagine what the man would be able to do, positively. And there's some negative stuff that he would do as well, but, for me, there's negative stuff, and every president does negative stuff, but it is what it is. So now that I've yammered on for 12 minutes about how I'm, on political stuff, which you've probably turned off already, but that's fine. Have a nice day, because I'm done for today. Thank you, and see you next time.